north, east, south, and west. It's time for a news update from Gals Guide Library and Research Center. Welcome to the second edition of the Gals Guide to the Galaxy News for July 22nd, 2019. I'm Dr. Leah Leach, the Executive Director of Gals Guide to the Galaxy. This episode is brought to you by Lemonade. Lemonade, that cool, refreshing drink in the summertime with equal parts bitter and sweet. This 1,000-year-old recipe has circled around the world many times over. Circling around the world many times over, that also sounds like the best-selling album of 2016. Beyoncé's concept album Lemonade was described by Tidal as, quote, every woman's journey of self-knowledge and healing. The album featured a blending and showcasing of various music genres: R&B, pop, reggae, blues, rock, hip-hop, soul, funk, country, gospel, electronic, and trap. Beyoncé's album is more than one genre. It's a journey. It's personal. It's collaborative. It's also rich with history. Goodness, this is actually really starting to sound like the Gals Guide mission. Now, the title is inspired from the grandmothers in Beyoncé's life. Hattie White is featured on the album saying, quote, I had my ups and downs, but I always found the inner strength to pull myself up. I was served lemons, but I made lemonade. Hattie is Jay-Z's grandmother. Lemonade, the album, and the beverage are perfect for summer, perfect for a moment of self-knowledge, and the best damn album you've got when you're ready to put those middle fingers up and tell them, boy, bye. So, okay, ladies, let's get information. We start with library news. Our book collection has doubled since our last broadcast. We reported in June that the Gals Guide Library was over 300 women's history books. Well, make that 623 women's history books. Our massive growth of books is thanks to a grant from Open Meadows, our Patreon peeps, as well as the work of our book hunters. And the big build continues because we've still got grant money to put to great use and book hunters eager for treasure. Speaking of book hunters, we have a trio of new book hunters this month. Welcome Laura, Thea, and Delcia. They have joined the team to search through used books at library sales, bookstore clearance sections, and even garage sales to find women's history books. We're always on the lookout for women's autobiographies, biographies, letters, essays, or memoirs. Personally, it's one of my favorite things at Gals Guide because I learn about so many different women from around the world just by finding books. If you're interested in learning more or becoming a book hunter, visit galsguide.org and click on that library tab. Notable new book arrivals this month are Becoming by Michelle Obama. Sound of Music fans will love The Story of the Trapp Family Singers by Maria Augusta Trapp. A Little Indianapolis Hometown Pride with On Her Ground, The Life and Times of Madam C.J. Walker by Alilia Bundles. And I don't know if you were glued to the Women's World Cup this year, but here at the library we now have The Girls of Summer, the U.S. women's soccer team, and How It Changed the World by Jerry Longman. We had this title also on our LGBTQ Pride Month wish list, and our book hunters found it at Half Price Books, and it's Charity and Sylvia, Same-Sex Marriage in Early America by Rachel Hope Cleaves. Our gal Katie also went on a trip to Iceland and brought back 2 books about Icelandic women and folk tales. Now, this last notable arrival comes with a quick little story, and you might have seen this on our social media, but just in case you haven't. From time to time, we see good deal on books when we look at used copies on Amazon. And these are from third-party sellers, and we're all about recycling. But more than that, we also like having books that are pre-loved. So 2 of the books that we ordered from Amazon Used Books were from the House of Pendragon series, written by Deborah A. Kemp, or she was better known to us, Debs. Our beloved gal pal was with us in the early days when we met in my living room and called ourselves WEB, Women Empowering Balance. She was a guiding force in getting us to look at women's history and even thought of a program calling it Dames of Note. That seed of an idea would eventually become the Gals Guide mission today. Debs never saw the start of the library. Debs wasn't there when we bought our first books. Debs wasn't there when we got the big grant to buy books. Debs passed away in 2015. With our newest book hunting mission, we knew we had to get copies of Debs' books for the library. We ordered used copies on Amazon, and when The Firebrand arrived, we gasped. The copy that arrived was donated by Debs to a library, and not just any library, to the library of her birthplace, Highland, Indiana. The book was also autographed. She wrote, quote, "To the Heinlein Library, dreams do come true. Believe in things." So for a brief moment, it felt like she was talking to us. And her books will always have a special place in our hearts and now on our bookshelves. When we asked our library manager, Bonnie, what new arrivals most excited her, she said, Shaggy Muses, the dogs who inspired Virginia Woolf, Emily Dickinson, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Edith Wharton, and Emily Bronte. And that book is by Maureen Adams. She's also excited about Failure is Impossible, Susan B. Anthony in Her Own Words, edited by Linda Scher, and It's Always Something by Gilda Radner. This month, our book hunters brought in an amazing 284 books to the library. And each month, we're looking for specific books in a research field. For July, we're looking for books about women in music. Bonnie put together a list of 20 titles that would be a perfect addition for the library. And I'll tell you, some of the titles are I, Tina, My Life Story by Tina Turner, Dolly, My Life and Other Finished Business by Dolly Parton, Women Who Make Noise, Girl Bands from Motown to the Modern by Julie Downs, and I Put a Spell on You by Nina Simone. If you would like to send us these books either through Amazon Smile or from your personal collection, or if you want to see what other titles are on the list, check out our website, galsguide.org, and click on the library tab. With all these new books coming in, our temporary holding location is starting to reach capacity. We really didn't think we would actually run out of room this fast, so we're looking for a public home for the library ahead of schedule. We're looking for a small but mighty space that is welcoming, cozy, and can be filled with amazing books about women. We need a research area, an office area, and a meeting space. We're currently based north of Indianapolis in Noblesville, Indiana, but we're open to new areas where the library can be of the most benefit. We're applying for grants and we're working those networking contacts. But please, if you know of somebody we should talk to, email us at info@galsguide.org. Changing over to research news, we're celebrating and shining a spotlight on women in music in our book lists, in our articles, and in our podcast. Did you know that we have a gal-powered playlist? It's on galsguide.org, and it's also on our YouTube channel. It features 31 songs, one for each day of the month, or 2 hours of awesomeness. From Rachel Pattern's Fight Song to Aretha's Respect, search 31 gal-powered songs. You got a song you want to add to the list? Let us know, because we're actually looking to do a volume 2. Every Monday is a new Gal's Guide to the Galaxy podcast where your gal pals bring you one cool thing. So far in Music Month, you have heard about Bonnie talk about Son of a Preacher Man singer Dusty Springfield. I rickrolled you with Swedish jazz performer Gunhild Carling. Rebecca brought the sultry sounds of Velvet Underground bandmate and solo artist Nico. Well, coming up, you better get those rhinestones ready and clock in for your 9 to 5 because Katie's one cool music thing is going to end this month in style. Start off your week by downloading the Gals Guide podcast and you'll never get a case of the Mondays. End the work week with a Flashback Friday episode that ties into our Women in Music research theme. We started off with the inventor of rock and roll, and I'll fight anyone who tries to tell me different, and I have, by the way, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Coming up is Ella Fitzgerald and Joan Jett. Check out the research tab at galsguide.org for all of our research discoveries. Changing to podcast updates, we asked previous gal pals if they had any updates of their cool things that they have shared, and we have updates from Bonnie and Rebecca. Bonnie is still reading the Alla Nazimova book. It's a big book, y'all, and she's reading like 3 books at once. Alla was Bonnie's one cool thing from last month for LGBTQ Pride. So Bonnie learned that Alla's stepmother, you know, the one who kind of gave Cinderella's stepmother a run for her money, well, apparently she was found dead in a ditch. Bonnie says, #karma. In the Wayback Machine of episode 2, we talked about the Williams sisters, Venus and Serena. Rebecca thought y'all would love an update on Serena. Now, according to CNN, after losing the Wimbledon final, a reporter asked Serena about a comment that Billie Jean King made to the effect that Serena should put aside her activism and focus on tennis. Serena said, quote, "The day I stop fighting for equality and for people that look like you and me will be the day I'm in my grave." Serena has won the Grand Slam title 23 times. We salute you, Serena, and stand in formation with you. We'll post a link to the article in the show notes. New in the Gals Guide shop, We actually have 8 different designs on our Redbubble shop that you can customize and put on your cool thing. Have it be a notebook, a laptop sticker, or a t-shirt. It's all good. We've been taking the randomness of phrases from the podcast and putting them into designs. From the Alla Nazimova show, we have, I vote for syphilis. I was the weirdie who said that one when we were learning about Alla's terrible father, and the researchers were starting to wonder if syphilis was the reason for his mood swings, and I shouted out, I vote for syphilis. Arriving today in the shop is Katie's beautiful line from the Nico episode. You know, it might be these margaritas talking, but it's a classic, and we've got a vintage drawing of 2 Victorian women talking, one of them sitting on a chaise, and it's just freaking lovely. I am personally ordering it on a notebook. All the money we get from the Redbubble shop goes towards the Gal's Guide to the Galaxy Library and Research Center. Now, there are lots of ways to support Gal's Guide. There's Patreon, there's Amazon Smile, there's Kroger Rewards, there's the Redbubble shop that I just talked about, but this month, I'm just going to keep it simple. If you like what we do, tell a friend to check us out. We don't have an advertising budget. We're not Nike. We're not iTunes. We're this little nonprofit who's trying to open the first independent women's history library in the United States. We care about women's history, so we share women's history. Sharing is caring. So instead of asking for money, which we're totally going to need when we try to open this physical library, we ask you to tell a friend. Maybe one who likes lemonade. So that's the news for now. Stay tuned. Flashback Friday is Ella Fitzgerald. Next Monday is Katie's One Cool Thing. Until then, read on, Galactic Glamazons.